good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of Capital Sports, reaching you from the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5, Abuja. Well, no matter the situation, we will never be subdued. Even COVID-19 knows we are doing our best to ensure that we overcome this situation. And here in the FCT, we know the story is coming out cheery and we're making progress. And by the grace of God, we'll overcome it. Yes, today we'll also be looking at some of the issues, even with the situation of COVID-19 stopping and suspending a lot of sporting activities around the globe. We will be looking at some of the issues and discussions on the sideline, I will call it, on Capital Sports today. Thanks for joining us. My name is Abdullahi Ajia, and I will not be alone. As usual, Bade Adeleye will also be joining on set so that we'll look at some of these issues together. But for now, please stay back as we go on this short break. Again. Well, today we'll be looking at a lot of issues in the Nigerian sporting arena and as well as also around the globe. But don't forget that this program is streaming live on our social media handles. On Facebook, you'll get us on Capital Sports. Please, Twitter is at, don't forget also it's a participatory program. When we open the lines, you can join us or call us on 092-910-984. Well, for now, let me welcome Bade Adeleye to the studio. Bade, welcome again to Capital Sports. As an essential worker, today again you are here with us, not minding the hiccups on the way we're here today to look at some of these sporting issues. But that notwithstanding, while our brothers and sisters are observing the lockdown as directed by Mr. President, we believe that in no distant time we will overcome the issue of... You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Abdullah. Very well said. This is what we've signed for, and also this is what we love to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, for now, before we continue with our discussions, if the Sports Tidbits is ready as packaged by Bade Adeleye, please, my director, take it from here.
Hello and welcome again. Now let's take you on a quick ride around the world of sports in 240 seconds on Sports Tidbits. With the novel coronavirus still ravaging the world, a great number of sportsters, coaches, administrators and teams have been providing palliatives to help the vulnerable in the society, with the latest donation in Nigeria coming from Chief Iloka Godwin Agbasimelo, the chairman of the club in Nigeria, Godoski Football Club. Through his foundation, Ogandioga, the philanthropist has given out 1,000 bags of rice, 1,000 cartons of tomatoes and groundnut oil, 1,000 tubers of yam, 600 bags of gari and other essential materials to serve as palliatives during the period of the lockdown. While promising to do more, management company Sheudeco has revealed that Nigeria National League clubs will not be promoted with only 5 league matches played. The NFF second vice president also said the federation would meet with the management of the NNL in order to find a way out of the confusion in the second tier league once normalcy returns to football world over. The Confederation of African Football is set to make a U-turn on its earlier decision to stage the 2021 edition of Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled to take place in Cameroon in January, by moving it to the summer. CAF's Secretary General Abdelmonem Ba in a recent interview revealed that the decision to move it to January was always a temporary one. The Scottish lower tier leagues will finish for the season after Dundee United voted yes to an SPF4 resolution to conclude the leagues due to coronavirus. Dundee have thus been declared champions of the championship. Raith Rovers are champions of League One, while Cove Rangers have been crowned champions of League Two. The Premier League will meet again on Friday to discuss how to bring an end to the 2019-2020 season, suspended since the middle of March because of the coronavirus pandemic. Clubs are still in favor of doing everything they can to finish the season rather than declare it null and void, but the possibility of dozens of contracts ending before the campaign finishes has multiple clubs concerned. Deontay Wilder has admitted that something was wrong, causing his defeat to Tyson Fury, but says no one should be surprised by his desire to fight again. Fury floored Wilder twice and stopped him in 7 one-sided rounds to become WBC heavyweight champion 14 months after they initially fought to a draw. And ahead of their third meeting, which is expected to hold in October, Wilder insists he only lost their last fight because his body language was wrong. Anthony Joshua says he knew Tyson Fury was going to expose Deontay Wilder, just as he believes he would have enforced his own aggression and could not Ibsen that he used to nullify Ruiz Jr. in their rematch, meaning that the Alabama man struggled to withstand aggressive tactics. And that will be all on Sports Tidbits for this week. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much, Badi Adeleye, for that wonderful package. I call it nothing, if you ask me, was left out of the burning issue around the sporting world. Well, Badi, now at this moment, every Nigerian seems to be talking about palliative, in which they're expecting governments and well-to-do Nigerians should be, dishing out to them. Well, the sporting, fraternity is not left out, considering the donation by the chairman of Godoski Football Club, giving his own widow's mite, I call it.
Yeah, very much commendable. I must tell you, we've seen, the Nigerian sports fraternity come up to see, to do, great things and, help the masses. It all started with the Minister of Youth and Sports Development himself. That's Sunday Diary.
Yes.
We saw him distribute, lots of palliatives, like food, drinks, and all those things to, the masses. Also, we saw, Nigeria International and Manchester United forward, Odion Igalo. We've seen so many people, presidents of federations and, clubs in Nigeria and elsewhere. And the latest coming from Godoski FC, the chairman of Godoski FC, Chief Eloka Agbasimelo, has really been doing well in recent times. We've seen him, do great things, aside from pushing the club from the lowest, level you can be in Nigeria. The club is gradually coming up, and this is someone who has always treated everybody around him well. So for such a person to give out like 1,000 bags of rice, 1,000 bags of granite or all these things, just somebody that is into sports. Most people would say, okay, they should be helping us, the sports people. But the sports people now are now helping members of the society. I think it's commendable. We're calling on more people to do that. We want, people from sports. So people have been donating, paying gate fees, paying, cable subscriptions to watch all these stars. Now we can see the world of sports helping the society back.
Well, but we wish Godoski Football Club, very well. And I know they have just been promoted to the 3rd tier of the Nigerian football division. And I think it's worthy of emulation, if you ask me. And like you said, we need more, good-spirited Nigerians to do more, because this is a time where humanity is united. And I think what is important at this moment is those who have to be able to reach out to those who do not have, which I think will make us live as that human beings. Now, apart from that, also another issue highlighted in the tidbits is the issue of the no promotion for the Nigerian National League teams.
You know, Shehu Diko, that's the chairman of a league management company and also the second vice president of the Nigeria Football Federation. He said, you know, it's not possible. After 5 matches. That means you're going to say this team, you know, they are the champions and these people, they are going to relegate. Or you say the standings will remain. Let's just take the top 4 teams to go up. But it's not possible because it's not fair. You're supposed to go to, you know, we know they were distributed. They were, you know, we saw them. They were divided into several,
groups.
You know, groups. Group A, Group B, I think C and D.
Yes.
So, but now, we know you're not supposed to play about 38 matches, but it's more than 10. But after 5 matches, you know, most times some teams are still trying to, you know, get their footing in, like, you know, the first earlier matches. But now, after 5 matches, they are being told that you've been relegated or you'll not get promotion. I think it's fair. For the NFL
yeah,
to
it's
say
fair. It's fair.
We will not promote.
It's very fair, and I think clubs will not raise eyebrow too much because just 5 matches. I think is not. I think that's a good one coming from the league management company. Now, before we go out, I want us also to talk about the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari. I think is doing very well.
Yep.
Another issue is the issue of raising funds for athletes, which I feel the underlining objective is for their welfare, to cater for their welfare, especially talking about this COVID-19, you know, putting on hold virtually every, you know, sporting activity. These are people who live, or their wages you know, are dependent on how much participation in one event or another. So I think this is a good one also coming from the minister.
Very well said, Abdullah. I think we must give it to the minister again because, you know, these athletes, they've really enjoyed because this man has really focused on them. Now he's coming up with a relief package which includes, you know, funds and some other things. This time around we'll be, you know, talking to the private sector and also talking to, you know, some other people. They're going to be seeing how they can contribute to help these guys. We're going to see money from National Lottery Trust Fund and, you know, some other organizations that will be, you know, helping the cause. And also private, you know, individuals have been coming up to say we want to donate to the cause.
Well, that is a very good one, and for our developments as far as sports is concerned. Now, before we move to other issues, by the Ghana Tour, I think we're beginning to see light at the end of the tourney, as it is usually said, after all agreements and disagreements, and at the end of the day now we learned that he will be issued his contract paper, you know, probably next week.
Yes, I think it's good news for fans of Genotro and himself because he has always felt, okay, I want this job. Like I told you last week that it looks like the last contract he could get in, you know, in his coaching career, knowing that he's getting to 70 years. But now look at it. You know, the NFF they've said this time around you have to go to match venues of the Nigeria Professional Football League and see the stars we have there and look at the ways you can bring them to the national team. That means you must reside in Nigeria and also you'll not be paid in dollars, you'll be paid in naira. I think those are, you know, good, you know, fair conditions, and I think he has no issues with them.
Well, arguably, Bade, you say it's fair, but I think initially he wasn't paid in naira, so I think why now thinking about paying in naira? But I think let us not argue much on that issue. Now, the issue of COVID-19, I feel, is still an issue that is a reality that the sporting world is still living with.
Yeah.
Where with no solution, you know, so quick, because the issue is still burning. We're still recording additional cases around the world, with recording deaths also. Now, Scotland just ended its, I think, lower division league. That's to tell you that, is it a sign of hopelessness, or what do you think?
You know, Abdullah, like I told you some time ago, I said it's quite easier, you know, to do all these things when you are in the lower league. And I think that's what, you know, you are in a league that's not that popular. You know that, you know, for a player, if you are told to pick between Manchester United or Rangers, you're not going to do that. You're going to pick Manchester United, and I think that's what is happening. for Scotland, it was an easy decision for them, although Dundee United, wanted to drag the issue. For now, they've concluded their league, even the Premiership, but they still don't. There are still issues around Rangers accepting that and all that. But the three lower divisions have been ended, and now they can know the champions and the teams that will be relegated. But the bigger issue that we have is that the money that will be distributed across, to all the teams, now know, because you get your cash reward according to your position on the table. And I think the Scottish FA, the Scottish Professional Football League, also they wanted to settle that quickly. Maybe they needed the money for COVID-19 issues.
Well, okay, Badi Adele, that's a good one there. But before we continue, don't forget you can watch us live. This program is being streamed live on YouTube. You can go to NTA Channel 5 to watch this program live on YouTube. But Badi, still talking about these foreign leagues now. The Premier League clubs are to meet tomorrow, Friday, to be able to decide on the fate of the Premiership League. I think this is one that so many people will be looking forward to hearing, because I know a lot of arguments, as to whether Liverpool should be crowned champions or they shouldn't be crowned champions.
Abdullah, I can assure you that nothing about the league. You're not going to get any development about the league. It's just going to be about players. Their contracts will be, ending by June 30, and so many clubs are scared that how are we going? These players will go. So who are we going to use to prosecute the league in case we need to play? We need to play again. So automatically, the contracts will be extended, and also about money. So those are one of the top issues, on the agenda, but not about concluding the league. No.
But I think top on the agenda, like you say, is the contract issue. But people are eager, anxious to hear who is crowned champion, or probably is it going to be a cancellation of the league?
I can tell you, most of the people that are for Liverpool, you find most people against Liverpool. They don't want Liverpool to win.
But that is a sentiment.
Yeah, because they really deserve it. We cannot deny. But some people have called them Lee VAR pool. You understand? But those, that aside now, they cannot really decide. The Premier League is is the most followed league in the world.
Sure.
Fans even if you're going to say Liverpool are the champions, but still play. Let's enjoy it. There's this vibe it brings every weekend for you to know that you want to go support your favorite team. So people want to see them. And some fans are even saying, see, if you cannot let us into the stadiums, don't say you want to continue. Let's wait till we can come into the stadiums, enjoy all these things. So we still don't know what's going to happen.
Well, but we're always looking forward to see how such issues will be amicably resolved without any problem, because fans, like you say, are eager to know where the pendulum swings at the end of the day. But now, the CAF seems to be confused. If you ask me, initially they talk about going with the June, July, 2021 AFCON, that's Africa Cup of Nations. Now it came back to January, and now they're going back to the June, July again. What's the problem?
You see, like what CAF said, according to their general secretary, he said the option of January, that before they agreed that it will now be played in the summer. We've seen, the last edition was in the summer. They now said, okay, to January for their, for reasons best known to them. But now, with the COVID-19 issues and all other things, they know now that they need to revert, to what's it called, the
June, July
that they agreed on some years ago. And and for Cameroon, that they should have hosted the 2019 edition, they want that one to be like a grand affair and all those things. So I think COVID-19 has forced them to do the what is necessary, because whether you like it or not, it's not enjoyable anytime we see AFCON in January, February. It's always good when it's played during in the summer, because most of the players are released by their clubs.
Well, that's a good one there. But Adele, like we said, this program is open, for you to be part of. Like I said, the phone line is 092 910